Newton is digital. Newton is personal. Newton is magic.
Simon also doesn't look like your personal computer.
It's like the dog is stuck inside of my computer screen.
The 1990s were a decade of bold experiments and groundbreaking ideas. But not every innovation found its footing. From quirky gadgets to unusual flavors, some products promised to change the game but ended up crashing spectacularly. Join us as we explore 25 innovative products from the 90s that failed miserably, proving that even the brightest ideas can sometimes miss the mark. In 1993, Apple launched the Newton Message Pad, an early attempt at a personal digital assistant, PDA, designed to revolutionize mobile computing. The Newton featured handwriting recognition, a touchscreen, and note-taking capabilities, promising users a futuristic way to organize tasks and communicate on the go. However, the technology was ahead of its time, plagued by unreliable handwriting recognition and bulky hardware. The device was expensive, slow, and often frustrating to use. Consumers and critics alike found it impractical compared to laptops or paper organizers.
What is Newton? Newton is digital. Newton is personal. Newton is magic.
Despite its innovative vision, the Newton never achieved commercial success and was discontinued in 1998. Still, it laid the groundwork for future mobile devices, influencing the development of tablets and smartphones decades later. Microsoft Bob, released in 1995, was an ambitious attempt to simplify the Windows operating system with a friendly, cartoonish interface aimed at computer novices. It replaced traditional menus with a virtual house where users could navigate rooms and interact with animated assistants, like a talking dog. Despite its good intentions, Bob was widely criticized for being overly simplistic, slow, and patronizing to users.
And just look at the animation of this dog. I mean, it's like the dog is actually stuck inside of my computer screen.
Many found the interface confusing rather than helpful, and the program demanded significant system resources, causing poor performance on average computers of the time. Due to low sales and poor reception, Microsoft discontinued Bob within a year. It remains a notorious example of a well-funded software flop that failed to balance innovation with usability. Microsoft Bob tried to simplify the PC experience. Did Nintendo's Virtual Boy succeed in immersing gamers or quickly fade away? In 1995, Nintendo introduced the Virtual Boy, an ambitious portable gaming system that promised immersive 3D gameplay through a red and black monochrome display and stereoscopic visuals. Marketed as the future of gaming, it was the first console to attempt actual 3D effects in a handheld device. However, the Virtual Boy's display caused eye strain and headaches for many players. The limited color palette and awkward tabletop setup detracted from the gaming experience.
Its own voice, its own legs. It needs your eyes. Virtual Boy. See it now in 3D.
Additionally, the game library was small and uninspired. High price and poor ergonomics led to disappointing sales. Nintendo discontinued the Virtual Boy less than a year after release, labeling it a commercial failure but a bold experiment that paved the way for later 3D and VR gaming innovations. Sony's Mini Disc, launched in 1992, aimed to revolutionize portable music by offering a compact, durable digital audio format that combined the portability of cassette tapes with CD-quality sound. The mini disc was rewritable and provided quick track access, making it attractive to audiophiles and professionals. However, it struggled due to high costs for players and discs, limited recording time compared to cassettes, and compatibility issues with other formats. By the late 1990s, the rise of MP3 players and recordable CDs overshadowed mini-disc's advantages. Despite a loyal niche following, Sony discontinued the format by 2013. The mini-disc's failure highlights how being technologically advanced isn't enough without widespread adoption and affordable pricing. The Atari Jaguar, released in 1993, was Atari's attempt to re-enter the 64-bit console market with a system promising superior graphics and processing power. It was marketed as the most advanced gaming console of its time. However, the Jaguar suffered from a poorly designed architecture that made game development difficult. The controller was criticized for its awkward layout, and the game library was sparse and unimpressive.
Sega Genesis is 16 bits, 3DO is 32 bits, the Atari Jaguar is 64 bits, which is more advanced.
Technical issues and intense competition from Sega and Nintendo further hurt its prospects. Consumers found it overpriced and underwhelming. The Jaguar failed to gain traction and was discontinued by 1996, marking Atari's last major console attempt and a stark lesson in the importance of developer support and quality content. BLO pens, introduced in 1994, were marketed as revolutionary writing instruments featuring a built-in ink reservoir and innovative design aimed at improving ink flow and preventing smudges.
A blow pen is much more than an ordinary marker. It's a marker and an airbrush in one for cool coloring fun.
The brand promised smoother writing experiences and longer-lasting ink compared to traditional ballpoints. Despite these claims, BLO pens failed to resonate with consumers. The pens were often bulky, uncomfortable to hold, and prone to ink leaks. Additionally, their higher price point deterred buyers accustomed to cheaper, reliable alternatives. Retailers struggled to move inventory, and BLO pens quickly disappeared from shelves by the mid-1990s. Their failure highlights the importance of aligning incremental improvements with user comfort and affordability to succeed in everyday products like writing instruments. BLO pens introduced bold stationary ideas. Could the IBM Simon Personal Communicator redefine mobile phones or fall short? In 1994, IBM launched the Simon Personal Communicator, the world's first smartphone combining a mobile phone with a touchscreen PDA. It offered features like email, fax, calendar, and note-taking. Remarkable for its time.
Simon also doesn't look like your personal computer, but you can create, send, and receive email anywhere.
However, Simon was bulky, heavy, and had poor battery life. Its touchscreen was primitive and required stylus use, which was not intuitive for many users. The device was expensive, priced at around $900, limiting accessibility. Additionally, wireless networks were not yet widespread, which reduced their utility. Due to limited marketing and infrastructure, Simon failed commercially and was discontinued after only 6 months. Despite its flop, Simon's pioneering features laid the foundation for modern smartphones and demonstrated the challenges of being ahead of the technology curve. Apple's QuickTake, released in 1994, was one of the first consumer digital cameras, designed to simplify photography by enabling users to capture and store digital images without film. It offered 8-bit color and stored up to 32 photos internally. Despite Apple's strong brand, QuickTake struggled due to its low resolution, limited storage, and slow image transfer. The camera was also expensive compared to emerging competitors and traditional film cameras.
Introducing the Apple QuickTake digital camera. It makes everything you do look better than before.
Furthermore, software and driver compatibility issues hampered user experience. QuickTake was discontinued by 1997 as digital photography rapidly advanced. While not a commercial success, QuickTake marked Apple's early foray into imaging technology, foreshadowing its later dominance in mobile photography with the iPhone. Launched in 1991, the Philips CDI was an ambitious attempt to merge gaming, education, and multimedia entertainment into a single compact disc player. Marketed as a futuristic home entertainment system, it promised interactive video, educational software, and gaming. However, CDI struggled due to a high price tag, a lackluster game library, and a confusing user interface. Developers struggled to create compelling content, resulting in numerous low-quality titles. Consumers were unimpressed by the subpar graphics and gameplay compared to rival consoles.
Released in 1991, it's the Philips CDI compact disc.
Despite Philips' heavy investment, the CDI failed to gain significant market traction and was discontinued by 1998. It remains a cautionary tale of overambitious hardware unable to deliver a compelling user experience. The 3DO Interactive Multiplayer, released in 1993, was a high-end multimedia console promising cutting-edge 32-bit graphics and CD-quality audio. Created by the 3DO company and licensed to various manufacturers, it featured an advanced architecture for its time. However, the 3DO's $700 launch price was prohibitively expensive, limiting consumer adoption. The lack of exclusive games and poor marketing further diminished its appeal. Competing consoles like the Sega Genesis and Sony PlayStation offered better value and stronger game libraries.
Presenting 3DO, the most advanced home gaming system in the universe.
Although technologically impressive, the 3DO's combination of high cost and underwhelming content led to its commercial failure. Production ceased by 1996, cementing the 3DO's place as a costly but ultimately unsuccessful early multimedia console. Commodore's Amiga CD32, launched in 1993, was one of the first 32-bit CD-based gaming consoles aimed at capitalizing on the success of the Amiga computer line. It promised superior graphics, sound, and the ability to play both games and multimedia CDs. Despite its technical strengths, the CD32 suffered from poor marketing and a limited game library.
The CD32 is a consoleized version of the Amiga computer system, most closely resembling the Amiga 1200 model.
The company's financial troubles prevented adequate support and development. Moreover, the console was primarily released in Europe, limiting global reach. Competition from emerging consoles like the Sega Saturn and Sony PlayStation overshadowed it. By 1994, Commodore declared bankruptcy, effectively ending the CD32's short lifespan. The console is remembered as a technically advanced system that failed due to poor business execution. Amiga CD32 sought to push gaming boundaries. Was Sony Glastron PLM50's head-mounted display the future or a flop? Sony's Glastron PLM50, introduced in 1996, was a head-mounted display designed for virtual reality and portable video experiences, promising immersive visuals through small LCD screens worn like goggles.
It really is just little images. I mean, they're just little LCDs right there. That's about what I expected.
It targeted gamers, professionals, and early VR enthusiasts. However, the device was bulky, uncomfortable for extended wear, and offered limited resolution that failed to impress users. The technology also caused eye strain and lacked compelling content to justify its use. Additionally, the high cost made it inaccessible to most consumers. As VR technology advanced, Sony moved on to better designs, and the Glastron faded into obscurity. Though a technical stepping stone, the PLM50 demonstrated the challenges of delivering comfortable, high-quality wearable displays in the 1990s. Sega's Saturn, released in 1995, was designed as a powerful 32-bit console to compete with Sony's PlayStation and Nintendo 64. Despite impressive hardware specs, the Saturn struggled due to a complex architecture that made game development difficult. Sega's surprise early launch, announced in 1995 without developer readiness, alienated key partners and retailers. Its bulky design and lack of compelling exclusive titles further hurt sales.
Introducing Sega Saturn, Sega's next-generation gaming platform.
Meanwhile, PlayStation's growing popularity overshadowed Saturn's offerings. Poor marketing and internal company conflicts limited Sega's ability to recover. By 1998, Sega discontinued the Saturn, marking a significant blow to the company's console ambitions. The failure of Saturn exemplifies how timing, software support, and consumer perception are critical to success in gaming hardware. In 1996, Microsoft introduced Windows CE, a compact operating system aimed at powering handheld devices and PDAs. Its goal was to create a standardized OS for mobile computing, promising compatibility and productivity on the go. However, the early Windows CE devices were bulky, slow, and offered limited battery life.
So Windows CE is a small footprint, hard real-time embedded operating system that runs on a whole different range of hardware and processors.
The user interface was clunky, and performance lagged behind competitors like Palm OS. Developers struggled with limited tools and inconsistent hardware support, resulting in a weak app ecosystem. Consumers found the devices expensive with limited appeal beyond niche business users. Windows CE's initial rollout failed to capture widespread attention, and while the OS evolved, its early incarnations in the 1990s are remembered as underwhelming and commercially disappointing. Voodoo 3D add-on cards, released in 1996 by 3DFX Interactive, sought to revolutionize PC gaming with cutting-edge 3D acceleration technology. These cards offered gamers improved graphics, smoother frame rates, and immersive visual effects, marking a significant leap over standard video cards.
3DFX PC accelerators. So powerful, it's kind of ridiculous.
Compatibility issues plagued the Voodoo cards. Many games did not support them fully, and users needed to install additional drivers and patches. The cards were also costly compared to integrated graphics solutions. Furthermore, rapid advancements in GPU technology meant Voodoo's hardware quickly became outdated. Despite their innovation, Voodoo cards failed to gain lasting dominance in the market and were eventually overshadowed by competitors like NVIDIA, illustrating the volatile nature of early PC graphics hardware. Voodoo 3D cards pushed gaming visuals. Did AltaVista search engine redefine internet browsing or fall short? AltaVista, launched in 1995, was one of the first powerful internet search engines, offering fast, comprehensive indexing and innovative features like natural language queries and multimedia search. It quickly gained popularity for its accuracy and speed.
It goes in a fan pattern at an angle between 11 and 18 degrees.
Standing out in the early web era. However, AltaVista failed to adapt to evolving user behaviors and the emergence of superior algorithms. Its cluttered interface and intrusive advertising diminished user experience. The search engine's parent company, Digital Equipment Corporation, struggled to compete with emerging giants like Google. By the late 1990s, AltaVista lost significant market share and relevance. Eventually acquired by Yahoo in 2003, AltaVista was retired in 2013. Its downfall highlights how innovation alone isn't enough without continuous improvement and user focus. Sony's Magic Link, released in 1994, was an early attempt at a personal communicator designed for mobile messaging, email, and organizer functions. It featured a touchscreen and stylus input, aiming to blend PDA and communication capabilities. Despite its innovative concept, Magic Link suffered from high cost, bulky design, and limited wireless connectivity options. The device's interface was clunky, and its slow processor hindered performance. Moreover, the lack of robust software and limited network infrastructure meant many features couldn't be fully utilized.
Whether that be on public email systems, private email systems, faxes, or even pages, even telephone.
Consumers found it overpriced and impractical compared to simpler PDAs and emerging cell phones. As a result, Magic Link saw poor sales and was discontinued within a few years, representing one of Sony's less successful forays into mobile computing. Launched in 1996, Web TV was designed to bring internet access to television sets, allowing users to surf the web and send emails without a computer. This device targeted casual users and households wanting an affordable and simple internet experience. However, Web TV was hampered by slow dial-up connections, a clunky interface, and limited browser functionality.
How easy is it to get on the internet? This easy. With MSN TV service from Microsoft.
The device struggled to compete with rapidly advancing personal computers and the growing popularity of laptops. Furthermore, the use of a TV remote or a small keyboard for typing was frustrating for users. Despite backing from Microsoft after acquiring Web TV in 1997, it never achieved mainstream success and was discontinued in 2013. Web TV's failure illustrates early struggles in bridging traditional media and the emerging internet. Sega's Dreamcast, released in late 1999, was technically innovative with features like online gaming and superior graphics.
Shut up, quadruped.
It's thinking. However, an early surprise launch in North America disrupted marketing plans and alienated retailers and developers. The timing coincided with looming competition from Sony's PlayStation 2, which overshadowed Dreamcast with its multimedia capabilities and strong brand loyalty. The console's limited game library and lack of third-party support compounded its struggles. Despite positive reviews and a passionate fanbase, Dreamcast's commercial performance was poor, leading Sega to exit the console hardware market by 2001. The rushed launch and competitive pressure sealed Dreamcast's fate as a technically advanced but ultimately unsuccessful console. Hit clips, introduced in 1999, were tiny digital music players that played 60-second clips of popular songs stored on interchangeable cartridges and marketed to tweens and teens as a fun, collectible way to listen to snippets of hit singles.
Hit it! Coming at you right between the ears is Hit Clips, music to get you grooving.
Hit clips capitalized on the late 90s pop explosion. However, the device's minimal playback time frustrated users wanting full songs. Sound quality was poor compared to emerging MP3 players and CD players. Additionally, the high cost of cartridges and the rise of digital downloading made hit clips obsolete almost immediately. Despite initial buzz and some commercial success, the fad quickly faded, leaving hit clips as a quirky example of early portable digital music that failed to meet consumer expectations. Pocket Locker, also marketed as Dear Diary, was a handheld electronic diary launched in 1995, aimed at preteens and teens seeking a private space to record thoughts and secrets digitally. The device featured password protection, a small LCD screen, and a QWERTY-style keyboard.
Your diary, unlimited space for all your secrets, and best of all,
What a hunk.
it tops too.
Despite its promise of privacy and convenience over traditional paper diaries, Pocket Locker suffered from limited memory, slow input, and a small display that made typing cumbersome. The novelty quickly wore off, and the growing popularity of early PDAs and smartphones overshadowed the device. By the late 1990s, Pocket Locker faded into obscurity. Its failure highlighted how early digital diary concepts struggled to compete with more versatile personal devices. Pocket Locker attempted digital diaries. Did the Sony Data Discman revolutionize portable reading or miss the mark? In 1992, Sony introduced the Data Discman, an early portable electronic book reader designed to access encyclopedias and reference materials stored on CD-ROMs. The device aimed to replace bulky paper volumes with digital convenience, appealing mainly to students and professionals. However, the Data Discman's monochrome screen was small and difficult to read, and the navigation was slow and unintuitive.
And measuring around 6 inches by 4 inches, the new Sony Data Discman is the smallest library in the world.
The heavy, clunky design limited portability, and the reliance on physical disks was inconvenient compared to emerging digital storage methods. With limited content available and stiff competition from PCs and laptops, the Data Discman failed to gain traction. Sony discontinued it within a few years, making it a fascinating but ultimately unsuccessful pioneer in digital reading. The Mattel Vidster, launched in 1999, was a kid-friendly digital camcorder designed to introduce children to video recording. Featuring simple controls and a compact design, the Vidster was marketed as an affordable, easy-to-use gadget for creative play. However, the camera suffered from poor video quality, limited recording time, and low-resolution playback. The device's plastic build often felt cheap, and the lack of features frustrated even young users accustomed to better technology.
Mattel Vidster, and uses a 320 by 240 resolution at 30 frames a second.
As more advanced digital cameras and camcorders became affordable, the Vidster quickly became obsolete. It failed to capture a meaningful market share and was discontinued after a short run. Despite its intentions, Mattel's Vidster remains a forgotten footnote in kids' electronics history. In 1997, Microsoft teamed up with the Barney franchise to create Actimate's Barney, an interactive, talking toy aimed at preschoolers. The doll responded to specific Actimate's software and accessories, encouraging educational play with songs, stories, and games.
Now, instead of just watching Barney and Friends on PBS, you can interact with Barney on PBS.
Although innovative in blending toys with digital interactivity, Actimates, Barney faced several hurdles. It was expensive, required a computer connection, and had limited software compatibility. Parents and kids found the setup complicated, and the toy's interactivity was often glitchy or repetitive. With emerging competition from standalone electronic toys and a high price tag, Actimates, Barney's appeal waned quickly. Microsoft discontinued the line by 1999, highlighting early challenges in merging traditional toys with tech. The GM EV1, introduced in 1996, was one of the first modern electric vehicles designed for mainstream consumers. Promising zero emissions and cutting-edge battery technology, the EV1 generated excitement among environmentalists and tech enthusiasts. However, GM leased rather than sold the cars, limiting ownership and resale.
How did we go so long without it? The electric car. It isn't coming, it's here.
The EV1's range was limited, about 70 to 100 miles, and the charging infrastructure was sparse. Despite positive reviews, GM controversially discontinued the program in 2003, citing insufficient consumer demand. Most leased vehicles were recalled and destroyed, sparking criticism about the automaker's commitment to electric technology. The EV1's failure stemmed from market immaturity, high costs, and internal resistance, but it remains a landmark in electric vehicle development.